go. Welcome back to the Context Coaching Podcast. We are blessed today to be joined by a track and field and cross country legend, Walt Lange, a longtime history teacher and track and cross country coach at Jesuit High School in Sacramento. Coach, thank you for taking the time to meet with me today.
My pleasure.
Well, take us through the background, Coach. I mean, it started somewhere, right? At what point did we get into this? What are the steps along the way? You said you retired from teaching 26 years ago, but you're still coaching. So there's two bookends to this, but would love to hear the step-by-step through the journey until today.
Well, it all started when I got cut from freshman baseball in high school. I always like to mention Coach Snedden, great guy, and he knew he didn't need me on the baseball team, so I got cut there. Went out for track and field and wore my baseball spikes in the very first track meet I was in, and ripped my leg apart on the very first jump I took, and that was the end of my track season. And the next year, sophomore year, some of my friends were involved in cross country and persuaded me into going out. So I ran cross country and track for the remaining 3 years, actually 2 years of cross country, the last 2 years, and 3 years of track, and did fairly well. I got recruited by UCLA. That was probably a long bit of a stretch, but it was a memorable day where met the UCLA coach with my parents and got the royal treatment. Met the student body president at the time, Rayford Johnson. I don't know if you ever heard of Rayford Johnson. He was a decathlon guy. He was on the varsity basketball team, and he was student body president. Pretty accomplished guy. Went to the spring sing that night at the Hollywood Bowl with my parents and the guy who was recruiting us. It was memorable, and I decided that I didn't want to go there. And instead, I went to a Loyola University of Los Angeles, which at the time was an all-male student body and had no track team or cross-country team. And all they have now actually is women's cross-country, I believe. So I was on my own at Loyola. They didn't have any teams to go out for, so I continued to run on my own and compete, mostly in road races, some track meets. But I did that independently. And I was able to do that for about another 10 years. As I was training, I was living in the dorms at Loyola, and there was a high school fairly close, a couple of miles away. And I would jog over there and use their track, St. Bernard's of Playa del Rey. And I trained there quite a bit and got to know the guys on the team. This was before girls track or girls. Well, there was girls athletics, but there was no girls track or CIF stuff, I don't believe. At any rate, so I met the guys on the team, was training with them, and became pretty good friends. And one of them's his dad recommended that the principal hire me as a teacher and coach. And turns out the principal at the high school had been the principal at our high school that I went to, Pius X, down in California at the time. And so I got hired as a teacher, and they hired me to teach history. And I took over cross country there. The coaches that were coaching cross country and track were the basketball coach. He was coaching cross country in the fall, and the football coach was coaching track, and neither one of them wanted those jobs. So I got them, and I partnered with another guy that got hired at the same time. Larry Divert was his name, and he and I were the track coaches for about 3 years. Yeah. And really enjoyed it there. Playa del Rey, it's near the beach. We ran on the beach all the time when it was low tide and all of that. And we followed the training philosophy at that time the Australian coach. Now I can't think of his name. It's ridiculous. Who coached Herb Elliott, world record holder in the mile, and where we were, the geography there fit this guy's philosophy a whole lot. Running on the beach, we did that a lot. Got to be low tide. We had hills there to train on. We had sand hills. So that's what we followed that as long as I was there. After 3 years, it became apparent we were having children. And, the school didn't want to pay me enough to support a family. And my brother-in-law was a stockbroker in Sacramento. And he said, "Walt, you got to come up here." And so I went up there and tried my hand at being a stockbroker for 3 years. And it didn't last there beyond that. But at the same time, I made acquaintances with Jesuit High School runners, and they were looking for a replacement, or no, just for another teacher and coach. And so they hired me in 1970. It was the first school year I was there. And, I can't remember I think I was the first season, I was the assistant to a guy named Clyde Lehman. And then after that first year, I was the head coach for cross country and have been ever since. Clyde was a good guy, and he got wrapped up in Shakespearean plays, et cetera, taking his classes during the summertime. And so he decided that he wanted to focus on that and give up coaching. He had been a runner in college too. And after a couple of years more at Jesuit, he wound up going to Nevada Union High School. And by that time, he had seen what we were doing at Jesuit. By the time I had 2 or 3 years, and when he went to Nevada Union, he really he modeled his. I would like to think that the training. He stepped up the training a lot as to in comparison with what he had been given the guys before I got there. And they produced some really good runners for quite a while. And I think the last I heard, he was coaching in that region, and he's coaching senior citizens, old people, and taking them to Europe and competing over there and so on. Haven't really heard from him in a long time. So we started having some pretty good results at Jesuit right away. We're located right next to the Parkway. You know what the Parkway is. It's a gold mine, and we have the greatest place in the world to train, and that's the American River Parkway. There's a bike trail that goes 20 plus miles from the junction of the Sacramento and the American Rivers there. And the bike trail has got decomposed granite on each side of it. So, and the rules are running feet are supposed to be on the dirt and wheels are supposed to be on the blacktop. That's not always observed by all the users, but if you do that, it's a fantastic place to train, and has been for many decades now. We've been able to produce some pretty fast runners with that as the primary place to go. We go upstream one day, downstream the next, on the track on the third day, or something like that. So it's as I said, it's just a wonderful environment. There's a public school downstream from us, not far away at all. Ray Americano may have the same thing, and they're out there on the Parkway as well.
I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to get going because I just want to say this out loud. So you have been coaching cross country and track and field at Jesuit High School for 56 years.
Yeah. It's a great place to work, man.
Yeah. And that's wild. Like, I'm 26 years in, and it's like, how do I keep doing this at the same level that you are doing this? Can you talk a little bit? How, coach? How the longevity and the energy and everything that comes with being in charge of programming. You're in charge of 2 programs.
Well, I'm not in charge of the track program. I'm just an assistant track coach.
Okay.
I was the head track coach for quite a while. I can't even remember how long it was. Rod Jett came along. I think so. I would say at least 20 years. I was head track coach, but assistant coaches are huge, and we've had a number of assistant coaches in cross country and track who have, and that's what I have now. I have 4 or 5 of them, young, a little bit older. I had a guy named Dave Zelke, and Dave, he was a runner at Christian Brothers High School, one of our rivals, and went to college at Cal Berkeley, ran for them. He was a very good runner, ran a very fast marathon, a good 10K guy. And then he joined the Peace Corps after Berkeley, served over there in Africa, met his future wife there, and came back and got a job at Jesuit. That was in '93, and he was our number 1 assistant cross country coach for from '93 to just this past school year, where he has retired and moved to Texas. His wife was dealing with some health problems, and so Texas was the place to be to get it treated. And and he was very, very knowledgeable. He's an excellent math teacher. The kids loved him. So he was at least 50% of the coaching situation there.
But that's my point. Even Dave was there for 32 years, and you're like, yeah, it's barely over half of the time I've been here.
I don't know what to tell you. I agree.
I love it.
It's so unusual, and some would consider it weird, and I need to get a little more variable. I just don't get tired of the sport. Is very, very interesting. It always has been to me.
Yeah. And I don't think it's weird. Like I mentioned, Bill Baxter, who was the AD at El Camino when I was teaching there. And I mean, he was there from 70 until I left in 08. So he probably left in 2012. And then he immediately became an assistant at Sac State for 10 years. And now he's still coaching at Folsom Lake College. It's like, coach, like at what point is enough enough? But anyhow, so as I told you, my colleague is fascinated by you and studies you, and she's spamming me right now. It's like, these are all the things I want to know. So I'm going to actually do this a little different than normal. I'm going to rattle through some of these, and you can pass or you can answer them as you see fit. But she said, the coolest thing about Walt is that he has the greatest dynasty in California. He's so humble about it. Why not just raise banners and flex? There's your question.
My, I don't know. The record speaks for itself. I got plenty of attention from my perspective, and I very much appreciate all of the recognition that we've received. And I revert back to the assistant coaches. I've got an assistant coach right now. Tom Witzgall is his name. He's a teacher on campus. Being a teacher on campus has its advantages. It also has its disadvantages, and it can be rather stressful trying to be the best teacher you can possibly be and the best coach. But at any rate, Tom interacts with the team. He not unusual for him to sit down and at lunchtime with them. So he's there all day long. He runs with the team. He's still a pretty good runner. He's getting on in age. I give him a bad time about it, but he's very good out there on the pathway. So he interacts with the team much more than I am able to do. I'm spending a lot of my time. I do videos. We have a YouTube channel. I plan the workouts, the whole training thing. And that I'm very happy doing that. We have a daily team meeting in the classroom. We'll have it today, 3 o'clock or 3:15, I put stuff up on the screen, and Tom gives me my minute or two to explain the workout and so on. Then he goes out with the team, and when the weather picks up, I ride my bike out there. Lately, I've just been driving to the turnaround point and walking around, and I do videos. I take video shots of them, and I put them up on Strava. Are you familiar with Strava?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I think Strava is a gigantic tool.
Yeah.
Hugely important to our program.
Okay.
Um, there's competitors that are quite good. Garmin has a similar kind of tool. They would argue that Strava is too social, and that Garmin has more of the technical information there. But at any rate, it's different than it was before the internet. That's the basic for me dividing line. So sometime 2003 on, the internet just, I think, changed the sport. Prior to that, you wanted to find out about training methods. Oh, well, go down to the library or go buy a book in the bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
It just it is so different now. And Strava it's for me, it's just jaw dropping, having gone through the period of the write to work it down in a diary thing, to where we are now. Strava has you have access there to world-class distance runners, to national class high school distance runners. It's just fantastic. Does everyone put all of their workouts up there? No, but enough of them do. There's a guy named Cam Myers. He's out of Australia, very young guy. At one point, I think he was the youngest guy to ever break 4 minutes for the mile. He's a world-class miler now. And he has been putting all of his workouts, as far as I know, up there for many years now. He started when he was like, I don't know how, it was a long time ago. And you want to know what a world-class miler does? Just go to Strava, Cam Myers, boom, there it is. This is what he did today, not a month ago, right now.
Right.
And there's a huge number of sources like that. So I think it's kind of revolutionized the sport, because everyone knows what the top guys are doing, and girls, they're up there too. Not in the greatest numbers, understandably, but there are plenty up there. So a very valuable tool.
So on that note, right, my curiosity then becomes, do you feel that those workouts are applicable to every athlete, or do you now as the coach say, okay, this is what the best runner in the world is doing for their training, I now have to scale this down for my ninth grader that's never done the sport before? How do you take all of that data, all of that wisdom, and distill it down to an applicable format?
Well, we have a system that's developed over the years, the VDOT system. VDOT is it's a number that they give a performer. The guy that runs a 4-minute mile has a certain VDOT number. A guy that runs a 4:20, and we have access to tables that tell us that, and we rate our runners based on their most recent races usually. And once a week, if we have a meet on Friday or Saturday, Monday, we have the team meeting, and we announce what the VDOT numbers are for the guys that raced over the weekend. If they improved on it, they get a big round of applause from their teammates. It really works well. It takes just a short amount of time to recognize them, and they really like it. I started the thing, and Tom Witzkall, one of my assistants, has taken it over. He does the VDOT stuff. We have training groups that we call gold, silver, bronze, copper, or bronze, aquamarine, I think, and ivory. Ivory's the last group that we have, and so we put people in those groups based on their VDOT numbers, and then they're expected to run with those groups for on that assigned workout. Pretty much, that's what happens. There might be an exception or two. Someone is sick or whatever, but most of the time, we find that that has worked. We've been doing this for many years, and it rewards for the athlete for his hard work, devotion to it, and it recognizes not just the guys in the gold group, but they all get a round of applause. If an ivory guy improves his VDOT, enthusiastic applause from the rest of the team. It's one of our traditions, and it's worked very well.
So
I should, there's one other. This is
yeah. Please continue.
We have a summer training camp. First week of August generally is when it is. Whenever it becomes legal.
Yep.
It's after the dark period, and it's not in July. It's our first work of training is when we have when team workouts become allowable, and our top runners, maybe 15 of them, maybe 20, they go up to Tahoe. Tom does all of that. He's taken over that.
Mm-hmm.
He's up there, and Dave Zelke, our former assistant, has also been up there a ton of times. I started with the track camps or summer camps a long time ago, and it really wasn't me. There was an official with the Sac City School District. Paul Reese was his name,
mm-hmm.
and he put on road races. He put on the Pepsi 20. Had 2,000 people show up for his race. That was a big deal in those days. And he contacted me, and he wanted me to handle a summer camp up in Tahoe. Mm-hmm. And so, and it was open to all kids. It was aimed at the Sac City School District, mm-hmm. and he didn't get the kind of response he was hoping for. Mm-hmm. It was free, no cost. He had buses. We went up to Tahoe. We camped there. He hired the McClatchy coach at that time. This is a long time ago. This is mm-hmm. back in the 70s. And that guy was the cook. And it culminated at the end of the week. There was I don't know if they still have it, but they had it for decades. The Tahoe relay race around Lake Tahoe that started in South Shore. Yeah, so we would go down there. That was the Saturday of the last day of the camp. We would go down to the starting line, and we'd have our 7-man teams, and they would race around the lake.
Yeah.
At 7,000 or 6,000 feet altitude.
Right.
So the training camp, that was my initial exposure to it, and then we carried it along, and then Tom and Dave took it over. They've been going up to Tahoe. I've always told the team, we drew straws and I lost again. I won't be able to go up there this week, you guys. Maybe next summer.
So they still do that. Where do they stay? How do you get them to all do that? You give me the 5-second version of that, because I've never even heard. We do like our week here before the season starts, but like going away to Tahoe isn't something that I've ever even heard about.
Well, they rent a place.
Okay.
And they charge the kids, the parents.
Okay, got it.
For it. And so far, so good. It's worked.
How many people go?
Off the top of my head, I would say 15 to 20.
Okay, so a smaller group. And then how many do you have on the team during the school year?
We have had, go back to the 90s when Zelke came on board, 93, 94, 95. We had 90 plus runners before soccer.
Okay.
Soccer came along and other things, and now you've got year-round sports that, it's just so the numbers aren't what they used to be. We have 50 some on the cross country team this past fall.
How do you have 50 to run? They just don't get to race because you only get your like 7 varsity kids, your 7 JVs, your 7 freshmen. Like, how does that work?
Most cross country meets we go to are invitationals. The people that put them on haven't a financial interest in having a whole lot of runners race, and so we race everybody.
Got it.
And
So just during the league races, they're restricted, but not during the
they're
invitational.
not restricted in league at all.
Oh,
No. What we've had in our section, every section is going to vary, but our section has had, and they're changing it this coming year, I believe, 4 races: freshman race, sophomore race,
okay.
JV race, varsity race.
Yeah.
They had the entire section for decades up at Angels Camp, which is quite a drive from here.
Yeah.
And basically an all day cross country meet, girls and boys.
Yeah.
With all of those races. It's fantastic. You have every runner in the section up there at Angels Camp.
Yeah, I remember those when I was coaching the cross country team at El Camino. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting. The level, right? So you've had Olympians on your team, and you've had, again, the casual runner who's never done it. How do you coach all those kids at the same time, and what does success look like for each of them? What's your system for, other than the VDOT? Do you do anything differently?
Well, a new runner has to be encouraged. I would note that you've got the ball sports, which is all but what? Cross country, track, wrestling,
Swim and dive.
And the rest of them are ball sports. And so they're not used to, as I've been observing, what they're used to is 4 minutes of play and then talking about it for a couple of minutes, and then 4 seconds of play. You see what I'm saying? That they're just not used to it. They're great sports, but they're markedly different from running 5K for 15 minutes all out. So it's just 2 different things. So we encourage, we had a new guy out yesterday. I had him look at the computer on the desktop there, and I had up our website. I just told him what I'm telling you, that this isn't a ball sport. It's not easy. You just got to be patient, very patient. We have the greatest place in the region for sure to train on. We're 700 yards from the American River Parkway, and it's just a very pleasant place to be. This year, it's just gorgeous right now. It's fantastic, green as can be, and not a lot of traffic out there. It's really, it can be a pleasant experience, or you can focus on how much it's hurting you, and it won't be that pleasant. But we try to make it a pleasant experience, a rewarding experience for the athletes. With Strava is so important. They record their workouts. Strava tells them how much they ran this week, how much they ran last week, the week before that, the week before that. Let's go back to the 70s. The training methods have changed, like probably they have in all sports. In ours, in the late 60s, Arthur Lydiard was the New Zealand coach who inspired the world, produced Peter Snell, world record holder, Olympic champion. And he advocated that you got to run 100 miles a week. Well, 15 miles a day. And high school guys, there were plenty of high school guys that started doing that. Oh yeah, and you should be running a marathon too. That should be no problem. Snell actually ran a marathon when he was training under Lydiard. He was a big guy, real big guy for a distance runner. And just a little side note, I had a parent who Snell came to the States after his running career, was going to UC Davis, studying there. And this parent, his name was Jim O'Neill, and his son was a very good runner. Jim contacted Snell and got Snell to come over to down there by Sac State on the bike trail, and Snell ran 4 miles with us. that was kind of cool, actually. For the guys today, it wouldn't mean anything unless it was, one of the top milers. But that was pretty darn good. So at that time, kids were running big miles. Running a marathon was considered kind of normal behavior if you wanted to be really good. And this guy, Jim O'Neill, his son Tom, ran a 2:24 marathon while he was at Jesuit High School. It was number 2 all time. And we had another kid, oh golly, what was his name? I'm drawing a blank. He set the 14-year-old marathon record. I took him down to Modesto to run the marathon down there, and he ran 2:43 when he was in the 9th grade. And he was, I think, 14 years old. So that's gone. We're not running marathons anymore, not running 100-mile weeks. So I don't know if that.
Why? What does the science tell you, right? Part of this is as you've evolved your programs, right? Your tempos, your hills, the way in which you built that in early on versus now where you have all these things available to you. How has your approach to developing this stuff shifted with the proverbial wins, let's call it? And what are the timeless principles that you have held on to?
Well, the long distance stuff is history. I mean, extreme long distance by today's standards. And you use the word tempo. That's what most successful programs are doing. And as far as I'm concerned, this has emerged in the last 7-8 years. It's become kind of a practice that I sat in on a clinic about a week ago, and it was coaches from all over the country, and they had a doctorate of physiology lecturing the coaches, and it was almost all college coaches and 1 or 2 other high school people from all over the country. And they talked about tempo, threshold pace, all that stuff. I'm still kind of working out a systematic approach, I would say, or I'm my ears are open if someone's going to tell me there's a better way to do this threshold training.
What does that mean for a kindergartner? Because I don't even necessarily know what the word tempo means. It's just something that Courtney shot my way. I know what threshold training is, but what do those mean in lay people's terms as you're trying to, right, take the Pareto principle of this is the 20% of the stuff that's going to get us the most results. What are each of those things for someone like me to understand?
Well, it's a pace of running that in the past might have been considered a waste of time. And now, if you look at some of the best, they're doing well. We have a couple of runners in college right now from Jesuit, and so I look at their workouts, and they're doing a lot of this stuff. And basically, they're not going into the oxygen debt. Lactic acid testing can be a part of it. I looked at that and decided I don't know if I want to do that. I definitely don't want to punch someone in the arm or on the hand or the finger with a needle. I'd probably pass out.
Yeah, doing blood tests wasn't part of the job responsibility.
Yeah, and probably not every parent would be enthused about it, but a lot of very good people, they know what they're doing, and they take lactic readings after efforts, which is interesting. It's really interesting, and who knows? Maybe we'll have a trainer down there in the track doing it. I've talked to one who was real excited about the prospect, and then I decided, I don't know. But anyway, that it's gotten to that point where the effort required at a threshold workout really isn't. It's nothing like an interval workout, which can be very demanding, and basically your heart rate just is going way up, and your breathing is out of control. You're struggling to get all the air you need, as compared to, say, a tempo threshold thing.
That's helpful.
Some people who would listen to what I just said are probably laughing. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, okay, fine, whatever.
It made sense for me as the guy that's not a runner. So that's what's important as far as I'm concerned. It's my show. When you do, let's call it cross country meets, track is a little bit more easy for me to understand in regards to the strategy of who you put in each event to try to win the track meet. I mean, there's the chess
Yeah,
board to that. I don't need you to go into that. But in the cross country sense, right? It's not like my basketball game last night and I'm scouting the other team and it's like we need to stop this kid, and if we don't, which we didn't, we're going to get beat. How do you do that when you're matching up in cross country races, especially the level of success you've had, which is kind of at the tip of the spear here? Is there anything in regards to that transfers, or is it just like, oh, my best seven guys are going to go out there and run fast?
well, the important thing is that you get them to the starting line healthy. Injuries are a frustrating part of the sport, mostly non-serious. They're not getting concussions or that sort of thing, but their aches and pains can be a real nuisance. So if you get them at the starting line, then the thing is confidence and experience. When they're starting out at whatever level, the first time out, they think, well, boy, that was really, really hard. And it may be that they ran at about 70% of their capabilities, just they never had the experience before. But so the more experience they get over time, hopefully the confidence factor builds up. So, we had this team this past fall, the best group we've ever had. And at the state meet, they ran with great confidence. They had a very low score. I forget what it was, but they finished with a low score. But at the lowest point was I think that with a mile to go, something like that. I don't know what it was, like 30 points is what they had. It was well, they were confident. They were very confident. Well, they got confident from running at the Clovis Invite, which is on the state meet course. They ran in that, did well there. They went down to Southern California and they ran in the I can't think of the name of the one down there in Orange County. Huge meet, teams from all over, and they lost to Harriman High School out of Utah, and it was close. And then they wound up beating Harriman later at Clovis, and Harriman everyone recognizes as just one of the top programs in the state. So these guys had a lot of confidence going into the state meet, and performed accordingly.
But you're not like trying to like, okay, we're running against Harriman. Their number one guy's really fast. We need to box him in. We need to do certain things.
Oh no.
Okay.
No,
there's not anything like that in cross country.
No, it's you want to find out who the best runner is. It's as simple as that, or runners. And what you say is their number one guy actually he won easily. He's a national class guy. So yeah, it's just experience. Hopefully, will build confidence.
Yeah,
and enthusiasm for working harder to continue that.
Yeah. Well, to your point,
it's
right?
Not for everybody.
No, you made the comment earlier, like in a traditional ball sport, you're doing something for a short burst, then you're debriefing it, then you're doing it again, then you're debriefing it. And in cross country, like you said, no, you're going out there and you're running 3+ miles hard, and that's your daily grind. Like, how do you get that out of kids? And I'm not going to be the get off my lawn guy where it's like kids are different, but it's like, it's a different thing to train that way. What have you found that's successful? What have you found that hasn't worked to get people to subscribe to that notion?
Oh, well, I would say that I would not get out there and yell and scream and berate and you're not running fast enough. And I don't know anyone that does that, but you might see that scolding maybe a bit more in the ball sports. I don't know. I don't go to the practices, but you might see that, whereas it doesn't benefit anybody to do that with a distance runner. You got to be positive, and there's, you got a 15 or 14-year-old guy, and he gets an injury, not a major one, but something that is a nuisance, and he's got to do something as an alternative to that. That can be discouraging, and so you got to be positive and say, well, just be patient. And I think I already mentioned I sat down with a guy yesterday and I showed him our webpage and showed him athletic.net and our all-time list. I don't know, are you familiar with athletic.net?
Absolutely. I look at it when our teams are running.
Yeah, there you go. That's a fantastic tool. And the kids need to be aware of that. My experience lately has been that if you don't strongly encourage them to look at that, they're going to continue to talk about NBA and NFL. And I would say, look at that. So I showed the kid our all-time list for the mile. I subscribe to it, so I don't know if everyone's got the same access I do. But I can go, here's our all-time list of milers. Yeah. So our number 10 guy in our history has run 4:10. That's pretty good. Not a whole lot of schools can say that. But one that can is Christian Brothers Academy of New Jersey. And I let the guys know that. By the way, they don't have a football team, which is kind of interesting. But at any rate, the information is out there, and so my intent yesterday with this guy was to give him some confidence, tell him this is one of the toughest all-time lists in the country, not the city, the country. Takes a 4:10 now to get into our top 10. You might be the one that does that. So just trying to insert positive things and goals to shoot for.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. So Courtney also said you have a very detailed program that 365 days out of the year they're training. I would love to hear more about that. And given your comment about year-round sports earlier, how does that fit in with your feelings on that and the ability for kids to do more than one thing?
Well, you probably know more than I do. I've noticed year-round club ball sports, soccer, et cetera, I guess football, club this, club that, and that is going to have an impact on, to say, traditional coach in distance running, cross-country track. And parental involvement has exploded. I always like to tell the story that my parents hardly ever came to a race that I ran. We're talking obviously a long time. These were products of the Depression. They had better things to do. Go and watch kids play. My dad remarked one time, he saw me, the first time he saw me run was in high school. And here I was getting recruited. And he said, he came to a race, and league championship race. You guys run pretty fast. Well, now, parents feel an obligation to be there. That's my sense of it. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying it's different. A lot more involvement there. And hopefully it's a positive thing. So.
Well, the youth sports industrial complex, in my mind, is not a positive thing. It's wrecking sports, but
it's making money for people, isn't it?
Oh, it's just a big money grab. $17 billion industry, coach. It's follow the money. But anyway, back to your deal. So you have a 365-day-a-year training program. How does that allow those kids, if they wanted to go play basketball, to do that? Like how does it merge?
If they want to do that, I can't object to that. That's their choice, and I'm not going to criticize them. I would offer, as an example, this is an extreme example. It all would play out this way. We had a runner, he graduated in '96. Michael Stemberg was his name, is his name. And Michael was a tremendous athlete. I had coached his older brother. His older brother was a very good 800 guy. I think he ran 155 or so in the 800. And then Michael comes along, and he ran real fast as a freshman, and they put him on a relay, and he ran real fast. The sprint coach said, "That guy's a 400-meter guy." Well, not really, but he was a basketball and soccer guy, and it was good. I remember at one cross-country meet, we were getting ready to pile on the bus. I think we were going down to Southern California, running Mount Sac, and the basketball courts on the blacktop are right outside our coach's office. And I'm hearing this ball bounce. I'm hearing the ball go through the net, and the rest of the team cheering. I go out there, and Stember is taking about 4 or 5 steps and slam dunking the ball. He's about 5'10" or 11. Bam. On one of the runs early on, he came back from a run out on the parkway, just continued running across the football field. The high jump bar was at 5'9", and he just jumped over it like it was nothing. Most distance runners can't do that at all, let alone having run 7 or 8 miles and boing, over he goes. Well, he wound up dropping basketball and soccer. And I know the basketball coach gave him a green light on it. Said, "Yeah, you're a good basketball player, but he was running times that were national class times his sophomore year. I forget what he ran, but it was fast, 4:10 or 12, I don't know, something like that." There's a video of that guy out there. It's a video of him winning the 1995 state meet, and some coach back in Ohio took the video. I didn't make the video. I don't know who did. It's from the bleachers, and Michael won the race junior year, 4:04. In his last 600 was just unbelievable. It was very, very fast. It's had 30 million plus views on YouTube. The guy dressed it up with, I don't know, statements and so on, and put it up there. So Michael's an example of a guy that, well, he made the Olympic team 6 years later.
Yeah, I mean, he's an alien. You can't use that combination. He played basketball. Okay, dude's built different.
Yes. Yeah.
But sincerely though, right? So if your kids, right, they're doing cross country season, they finish, go through the winter, get ready for track season.
Yeah, I can't. If they're not going out for, I can't tell them not to do that.
No, I know. I'm curious what your program looks like. Is it like the plug and play is going to sound wrong, but it's like, here's this system that we have built that Justin Kleinwell can start doing this on day one, and 365 days later, he's going to be 17% faster. Like, how does you have something that's like a template that almost works that way?
I have a calendar, and I can send you the link.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to.
Oh, yeah. But the whole program is online, the whole thing.
Okay.
And I tell my runners, study this. Most of them don't. Most of them don't. They're not interested in more study.
Of course not. Why would they do that?
Everything is there, quite wide open. And I'm sure there's probably very good coaches out there who look at it and think, yeah, ours is better. And sure, probably right. I would hesitate to say that I'm telling all the runners to run 7 days a week. I put a calendar up there for the
Yeah.
year,
Right.
for the 12 months, and I don't put anything on Sundays.
Right.
I encourage them to go on runs. I don't yell at them at all if they don't. It's their choice. And the group that we have now, which is basically the best we've ever had, they've been doing pretty solid Sunday runs.
Yeah.
They get together on their own. They decide where they're going to be. Last week, they were down in the Bay Area running in some real hilly park down there.
Yeah.
Um,
but you've created a situation where it's like, here's the blueprint. You can be as good or as bad as you want. Like,
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. And then they enjoy running so much that, okay, now we're going to go enter this 5K or we're going to do this relay and we're going to have fun with it on our Sunday instead of it being part of our training.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Yeah,
Okay.
You got to be careful about CIF rules.
No, yeah. And I hear you, and you are within the letter and spirit, because essentially, like, I have a lifting group in the morning and I've got a program from Steve Kenyon, who's at Rio. He's up there, runs SST, and it's like, it's the blueprint. And it's like, you show up every day. We were in there this morning. It's like, turn the page. Here's what we're doing. And it's the long game, right? In your sport, it's just like, water the seeds every day. And eventually, here's what's going to happen.
I like to give examples of guys who didn't show much promise at all and had a great deal of success before they got out of high school. I had a guy named Pete McCary. He's an old alum now, and there's an alum group of guys on a male thing. And I'm part of it. I hardly ever contribute anything, but they're big fans of what's going on in track and field. Pete ran freshman cross country. Only ran for 4 years, and when he came out, boy, it was painful. Did not show much promise at all. That was freshman cross country, and I remember running a little bit with him during the winter time, just a little. And then he came out for track, and all of a sudden he's growing and he's getting better and better. He was in a cross country, a postal race during cross country freshman year, it was down in the San Jose area. And so that's where everybody runs a 2 mile.
Yep.
They still have postals. Nationwide, they determine the top postal team. Anyway, we're in there, and they start usually with in this case, it was fast heats first, then the slow ones. And so Pete's down there. He's in the 2 mile, and it's pretty ugly, barely moving. And at the end of 7 laps, he steps off the track, thinking that he's run 8. And one of my runners came up to me and said, "Coach, McCary just got off the track. He only ran 7 laps." And I said, "Let's just keep this quiet, you know." Well, 4 months later, I think he ran the mile in like 5:02.
Wow.
Everything just came together.
Yeah.
Eventually, he ran the 2 mile under 9:20.
Wow.
And didn't go to the state meet, but still, that's running, you know.
Yeah.
Remains to this day. This was in the 70s, so you do the math. I don't know what he is. He's 60 something years old, I think, right around 60, something like that. Big fans. This whole group of them, these alums, they got a chain letter thing and making comments about modern events in track and field, and it's pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. I love that, and I think it's hopefully after we get off, you can send me that link and I can put it in the show notes. But that's really neat because it kind of fits what I just described, what we do. And it's just like, you can't just show up once in a while. Just show up every day, 1%. You get a little bit better and it compounds. And all of a sudden, to your point, he's running a 5:02.
Yeah.
All right. Let me wrap up with this, Coach, because you've been doing this for a long, long time. And I'm not going to ask a traditional question here. I'm just going to open it up and be like, you're on the the back end of this further than when you were on the front end, but what
Yeah.
wisdom can you just offer anybody across any sports that is even remotely attached to the world you and I live in, that's just like, hey man, this is how you can kind of keep it all centered, right? Where we're finishing our season last night in a playoff game and it's like, that's it, it's over, on to the next thing. You know, your emotions come high and low, but like, what do you have to offer? Just the years of doing this.
Well, you got to have an understanding spouse, very understanding. Um, so I've been blessed with that. So
That is the number one secret. You are correct. You are correct. I love it. We'll just end there because that's it, right?
okay, good. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good. Well, thanks for being on. I appreciate you taking the time. I know there's a bunch of other things that you could be doing or people pulling at your time, so I appreciate you giving it to me.
Oh, this was fun. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Really.